The Vibe. Be there.
Friday night.
You want to know more?
It's the Black Music Quiz Show where North plays South as Londoners' power moves do battle with the vinyl junkies from Manchester, with music from dance diva Judy Cheeks and raw energy from Cruz.
Be there. Tune in.
So join me and a few of my close friends here at The Vibe Friday, 11:15 on BBC Two.
What a difference a day makes.
What a difference a day makes when it comes to 8:30 on BBC Two. It's Back to Nature on Tuesdays as we make tracks for the country.
Definitely a badger.
At 8:30 on Wednesdays, it's time to pick up some handy tips from the Homefront team.
We've got ideas and inspiration for everyone who loves their home.
On Thursdays at 8:30, Gary Rhodes is busy cooking his way around Britain.
Doesn't it make you hungry? Just look at that.
Then sit back on Fridays and admire the blooms on Gardener's World.
And you have to admit, they do look really splendid.
Make a date with 8:30 from Tuesday to Friday on BBC Two.
Preparing himself for a mythical journey through the ages in 15 minutes on BBC Two, Professor Gwyn Williams concludes his search for Arthur. The Gift of the Gab takes over BBC Two now, and here are some of its past masters.
Lo, where it comes. Balductum, or the scope for pronunciation of all sorts. Frank Muir and his team will define this word 3 different ways. 2 of them are false, 1 is true. The true one is the one that Patrick and co tried to pick out. So you're on your own with this one, Frank.
Prithee, my brow is fevered. Prithee indicates it's Tudor period, you see. Yes. And the dialogue indicated that I have a feverish chill. What to do? The steward says, mix him a balductum. They take hot milk, into which they drip wine, until it congeals. Pour it down my lord's throat, and thank you, my good and faithful sheriff. And it's a Tudor posset for cooling down little fevers.
Derek Jacobi, your turn.
Well, a little before the Tudors, in days of old, when the Gauls were revolting, the Emperor Charlemagne had in his armory an incredible weapon called a balductum. It was rather like a huge catapult. It was a vast horizontal bow with leather thongs which stretched across it, and on this was loaded the ammunition, huge boulders and stones. The thongs were then pulled back and released, and then this threw the boulders and the stones into the front ranks of the approaching revolting Gauls.
Okay, so now, Joanna Lumley.
Yes, dear?
A balductum is a painting of low life, an artistic portrayal of the real beastliness, squalor, an absolute horror of life as it really is. And probably the most famous in the English series of Balductar, I don't have to tell you if that's the plural, is The Rake's Progress by Hogarth.
Fifth declension, I think, Patrick.
I think so.
Yes. Please, Joanna.
You were saying that?
So that's what it is, it's a painting of low life.
Oh, yes. Well, it's a painting of low life, she says. It's a sort of bow, which chucks sort of rocks, I think I got, and kind of a medicine or nightcap if you're rather chill.
When you said you were sending for the steward, I thought you were at sea.
Oh, Patrick.
And you wanted a bucket or something. All this... that would be leading a ball out of a catapult, not throwing it. I think whatever you were talking about, these filthy pictures. Is it?
Ah, you're going to choose that, are
yes.
you? The genre paintings of low life. Joanna, you said it too, Bluff. She was only teasing. Who gave the true definition? Here he comes. Lata is the next one, but I dare say it's pronounced many a different way. Patrick.
It's pronounced hlata.
Aha.
Welsh. It's a lively dance, danced by the Incas of Peru. That's why it's called a hlata. Not Welsh, not Pontypridd, but this kind of Inca work. A dance not of a kind of particular exuberance or happiness, not a war dance, but it's a kind of useful dance, because if you've got a load of cut wheat on the floor, this is the time for the hlata to break out, because the pounding of the feet.
Oh, yeah.
You get a loaf of bread pretty well, instantaneously.
17 pence?
That's what it is. You're chuffed.
So now Jonathan Miller has a go.
Well, it's certainly an outbreak of some sort, but it's more pathological than that, really. If you ever visit Indonesia or Java, you will sometimes see an outbreak of lata, which is, in fact, an outbreak of hysterical behavior involving rather complex involuntary movements. It's a species, really, of Sumatran hysteria, really, and very serious and very unpleasant for those who witness it and, indeed, those who see it.
We get a bit of that. We get a bit of that here from time to time. Neris, your go.
It's a sort of whitish honey, really, is the best way to describe it. And,
All honey is whitish.
oh, no, you can get a pretty deep Welsh yellow one.
True.
Yes. All right, Frank?
Yes, expunge
well,
my
this
remark
one,
from the record.
Please.
yes, well, this one is a whitish, sweetish substance, and it's found usually on eucalyptus trees in Australia, secreted by a caterpillar. And for ages and ages now, the Aborigines have sort of dried it out and let it go all sticky and gooey, and used it for sweetening whatever they want to drink.
Right. Right, sort of kind of caterpillar honey. It's Javanese or thereabouts hysteria, and it's a very lively Inca dance. Frank.
I've just put INCA here. If an Inca was canonized, he'd be a stinker, wouldn't he? Inca dance, Sumatran hysteria. And right out of the blue, nothing to do with Lata, Incas or anything, we get honey. So I think it's the odd man out. I think it's honey. Neris. How wrong am
she
I?
said that. True or bluff, Neris? Tell us.
Oh, wicked face.
Yeah. Who gave the true definition of that word? It's there.
I think the professor here has it. Yes. Yes, certainly.
Bijan, the next one. Miriam, your go.
Well, it's pronounced Bajan, like behold, behead, and behave, Patrick. And
what did I do? Just sitting here quietly listening.
You're winning, that's what you're doing.
So behave, Patrick. Now, Bajan is a verb, and it describes the activity of a hawk when it's getting ready to take off, when it's seen its prey and it's getting rather excited and it knows that there's a kill ahead. When it arches its neck, fluffs up its feathers, and you know how they do this with their feet?
No.
Yes, when a bird's excited, it sort of goes from one foot to another on the perch. And that is to Bajan.
They don't like to overdo things, birds. Tremor a bit on the perch. Frank, your go.
Bijan, from the French, lovely antiquarian word for first-year student at a Scottish university. Happily, a term still preserved at the University of St Andrews, of which I'm rector.
Well, James.
No, you must know it.
Follow that.
It's a terribly well-known word.
James.
Well, Bijan is an Indian. It sounds Indian. It's an Indian word. It means a little toll house outside a village in India, northern India. And in fact, that during the Indian Mutiny, there was one of the first VCs with his company held one of these bajans against the revolting natives, or the natives revolting, however you want to call it. That was the bajan.
So it's that kind of Indian toll gate or bar where you go through. It's a hawk getting fairly excited, and it's a Scotch freshman, not the other way round.
It'd be great if you could get this wrong.
I don't think that despite the fact you're rector, I don't think that it sounds like a first-year student at a Scottish university. Sorry. The hawk taking off, doing this funny little dance. And James's toll house, it does sound Indian, but I think I'll go for Miriam's hawk.
She did say, yeah, the hawk trying to work itself up to get up into the air. True or bluff, here it comes. No, no. Now, did the rector speak true?
Oh, the relief is extraordinary when you get one, isn't it?
He was right. Here we have Lumery, and I think it's Judy's turn.
Oh, well, Lumery is contact with supernatural powers. Lumery is the sort of cultivation of the acquaintance with ghoulies and ghosties and anything like that that would go bump in the night.
Right, now we, Patrick, yes, we come to you.
And Lumery, it kind of sounds like what it really is, a kind of sad looming place, the Lumery. It's a small little rocky island which is entirely infested, inhabited by guillemots, little seabirds. And they live there blissfully happily. They get married to other guillemots, have little baby guillemots. They came back to the same Lumery year after year and having even more guillemots. It's a kind of lonely bird place.
I think you're...
Right. It's all he needed to know, just the piece that fitted the jigsaw. Now, Edward, your turn.
It can only be done once a year.
It's a one-man show.
Yes. It is, in fact, a bagpipe serenade. And I wouldn't go to that trouble if it wasn't a bagpipe serenade. It's a bagpipe serenade played regularly, in fact, outside Her Majesty's room at Balmoral. The word derives, in fact, from luma, which is the original bag plus pipe, which is not Scottish, it is, in fact, French. Lumere.
Well, there you are. It was almost as bad as the real thing, wasn't it? It's a bagpipe serenade. It's the raising or being in contact with spirits, and it's the sad, lonely breeding ground of the guillemot. Joan.
I don't think it even sounded terribly like a bagpipe, more like a Japanese suicide. Spirits, witchcraft, well, there are lots of funny words there, so it could be, couldn't be. I just so like the idea of all these guillemots having this happy time on this island. Yes, Patrick, I'll take a risk and see if it...
Your heart's in the right place for guillemots.
On BBC One now, the programme that's useless if you've got the memory of a goldfish. Bob Monkhouse only deals with memory